Chosen one. Stop what you are doing right now. This moment is not ordinary. Heaven has pressed pause on everything around you so this word can reach you directly. You may have scrolled past countless messages, but this one grips your spirit because it carries your name. You are not here by accident. You are not lost in the crowd. You are marked. And this very second is a divine interruption in your life. Listen carefully. You were never meant to blend in. The hand of God has been on you since the day you drew your first breath. That is why your journey has been heavier than most. That is why the storms against you have been fiercer than against others. The enemy recognized your calling long before you did, and he has tried everything to bury it. Yet here you are, still standing, still breathing, still chosen. Beloved, chosen one. You have been misunderstood. People around you could not see the depth of what you carry. So they dismissed you. They labeled you strange, intense, too different. What they did not realize is that heaven's fingerprint rests on your spirit. You are set apart, consecrated, and sealed for something greater than ordinary existence. That is why compromise never satisfies you. That is why shallow living leaves you restless. Deep down, you know you are called for more. Scripture says in the Gospel of John, chapter 14, verse 27, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you, not as world gives. Do not be troubled. Do not be afraid." Hear this clearly. What the world could not give you, God is now pouring out. His peace will steady your trembling heart. His presence will quiet the noise of fear. You are not abandoned. You are anchored. You sense it even now. There is a pull in your spirit, a trembling in your heart. That is not anxiety, it is activation. Heaven is aligning your steps. And this message is the confirmation you've been praying for. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, because you were never called to be defeated. You were chosen to disrupt darkness, to carry light into places others are afraid to walk. Chosen one. This word is not just comfort, it is commission. God is not merely soothing you, He is awakening you. Every battle you've endured has been training. Every rejection has been redirection. Every closed door has been protection. And now, the appointed time is here. The crown that seemed far away is closer than your next breath. I speak to you with urgency. Rise up. Step out of hesitation. Refuse to remain hidden when heaven has already announced your name. Do not waste another moment doubting your worth, because you are priceless to the kingdom. Beloved, if this word burns within your spirit, let heaven see your response. Take this as your prophetic act. Like, share, and comment below so that this word reaches every other chosen one who feels forgotten. And if you have not already, subscribe, because messages like this are not random. They are reminders of who you are and what you carry. And right now, as a seal of faith, type this number in the comments. 777. This is your prophetic declaration that you align with heaven's perfect plan, that you step into divine completion, and that you accept the mantle set aside for you. Chosen one. The weight you have carried has not been invisible. Heaven has recorded every moment your shoulders trembled under burdens too heavy for ordinary hearts. Every silent cry in the darkness of your room. Every night you wondered if anyone truly understood you, was seen. Nothing has been wasted, not even the tears. You may feel overlooked by people, but you have never been overlooked by God. This is why your story feels heavier than others. You were entrusted with challenges most could not survive, while others lived carefree. Your path was marked with tests that demanded endurance. You questioned why the road seemed unfair, why the pain seemed unending. But the truth is this: you have been walking through fire because fire reveals the unbreakable. Precious gold is never found polished. It is discovered in rough places and purified in heat. Beloved, the rejection you faced was not proof of your unworthiness. It was proof of your distinction. Had you been ordinary, people would have accepted you easily. But heaven never designed you to be common. The misunderstandings, the betrayals, the seasons where you felt isolated were shaping you into one who could stand alone when others bowed to the pressure of the world. The ancient words recorded in Romans declare, chapter 5, verse 3-4, "We glory in tribulations, knowing tribulation works patience. Patience produce expérience. Experience gives hope." Do you see it now? What you called suffering was heaven's training ground. Every hardship has produced something eternal in you: patience that does not break under delay, character that cannot be bought, and hope that shines when everything else fades. You have endured storms that could have shattered anyone else, but instead of being destroyed, you became stronger. Instead of losing your voice, you discovered it. Instead of being crushed, you were refined. And though you do not always recognize it, others see a resilience in you that intimidates them. Your scars, though hidden, carry a testimony of survival. And survival is the seed of authority. Chosen one. Hear this: your value is not measured by what was taken from you, but by what remained in you despite the loss. You did not curse God in the pit. You did not abandon faith when the night dragged on longer than expected. You did not let bitterness consume you when betrayal pierced your heart. That is evidence that you were built for more than temporary comfort. You were built for eternal destiny. There were times you thought, "I can't carry this anymore," yet somehow you carried it anyway. Not because of your strength alone, but because heaven's hand never lifted from your life. Angels have walked beside you when you thought you were alone. Divine whispers sustained you when no one else spoke encouragement. Even in your lowest valley, you were never forsaken. Understand this: the weight you carried is also the mantle you inherit. The heaviness was preparation for the authority you will wield. The very things that broke you open are the things that made room for greater glory to pour in. God allowed the crushing because He intends to release fragrance through you, the kind of fragrance that cannot be imitated, only cultivated through suffering. Do not despise what you endured. It shaped you into one who can stand in places others cannot. It gave you language for the broken, compassion for the hurting, and strength to lift others when they feel they cannot rise. Chosen one. Your pain was never punishment. It was prophecy in disguise. Chosen one. From the very beginning you were set apart. You did not stumble into destiny. You were marked since birth. Before you were even aware of your own name, heaven had already spoken it. The enemy saw it too. And that is why the battle began so early. Some of the struggles you faced as a child were not random. They were attempts to crush what God had planted in you before you even knew how to fight. Even in your earliest years, you may have sensed you were different. While others seemed to fit in easily, you felt like you stood on the outside, looking in. This was not rejection, it was preservation. God shielded you from becoming too entangled with what would have derailed your calling. You carried questions in your heart. Why do I feel so different? The answer is simple: because you are different. You were designed that way. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. Do you realize the weight of these words? Your life was no accident. Long before you breathed air, you carried assignment. Heaven appointed you, not people, and what heaven appoints. No earthly rejection can cancel. Beloved, that is why certain doors never opened for you. They were never meant to. God closed them before you could step through, because they would have stolen your focus. That is why some people left you. They could not walk with someone carrying heaven's seal. Do not resent their departure. It was divine protection. Your uniqueness is your crown, not your curse. What set you apart in the past will set you above in the future. You were not meant to blend in, because light does not blend with darkness. You carry within you a light that unsettles what is hidden, a purity that convicts, a presence that shifts the atmosphere. That is why people either draw near to you or withdraw from you. You are too much for lukewarm spirits. And that is exactly how heaven designed you. Chosen one. You are walking evidence of God's intentional design. The enemy has whispered lies that you are unworthy, forgotten, or misplaced. But truth stands. You are a divine blueprint, carefully constructed for a mission that requires your exact strength, voice, and courage. You are not late. You are being prepared. You are not overlooked. You are being hidden until the right unveiling. Now, I want you to seal this truth with a declaration. In the comments below, write these words: I am chosen. No, do not let this be a casual phrase. When you type it, you are making a prophetic act of agreement with heaven. You are saying, I embrace the fact that I was set apart. I reject the lie that I am ordinary. I accept my mantle and identity as one who carries heaven's mark. Every time you see your own words displayed, it will remind you of this sacred truth. You belong to the chosen. So, let your spirit rise. Lift your head. Stop shrinking back when you were never meant to be small. You are heaven's messenger, anointed for such a time as this, appointed to speak life where others only see death. The fact that you are still standing is proof that the hand of God has never lifted from you. Chosen one, embrace your difference. It is not your weakness, it is your divine weapon. Chosen one, do you know why the atmosphere often shifts when you enter a room? It is not your appearance, not your personality, but the light you carry. Darkness recognizes you, even when people do not. Your presence alone unsettles forces that operate in secret. This is why some individuals glare at you without reason, why some avoid you without cause. Their spirits are agitated by what rests inside you. There is a radiance upon your life that you cannot dim. No matter how hard you have tried, perhaps you attempted to blend in, to live quietly, to avoid drawing attention, but your very existence disrupts the enemy's agenda. You walk in carrying the essence of heaven, and unseen realms are forced to acknowledge it. Do not mistake this resistance for rejection. It is warfare, and it only confirms who you are. The Word of God declares in the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14, You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden. Beloved, this is your identity. You cannot be concealed, because heaven has placed you on display for a purpose. Your light is not ornamental, it is a weapon. It pierces through deception. It reveals what others tried to keep hidden. It guides the lost towards safety. Understand this: darkness does not fight darkness. It only fights light. The pressure you feel is evidence of your illumination. The jealousy, the gossip, the sudden hostility from people you trusted, it is not random. It is the enemy trembling because you carry something he cannot extinguish. When you step into a space, spiritual forces recognize the authority flowing through you, even if you are still learning to recognize it yourself. Chosen one. Your very existence is a contradiction to the plans of hell. You are a walking reminder that God's power still redeems, still delivers, still reigns. That is why you have endured unusual attacks, not because you are weak, but because you are dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Remember, the greater the light, the more visible it becomes in shadows. And you, beloved, are no flicker, you are a blaze. That is why trials sought to extinguish you. That is why despair tried to silence you. But the fire in you was not self-made. It was placed there by God Himself. No storm can quench what heaven has ignited. Your journey has already proven this. Each time life attempted to bury you, you emerged stronger. Each time rejection pushed you aside, you discovered a deeper identity. Each time you were told you could not, you rose and showed that, through God, you could. This is the story of a chosen one. Opposition may come, but it cannot overcome. Do not underestimate the impact of your silent battles. Even when no one applauded your endurance, the heavens recorded it. Every tear shed in secret became fuel for the flame inside you. Every moment you resisted the temptation to quit added weight to your spiritual authority. Now, when you stand, you do not stand as an empty vessel. You stand as one filled with a light that the world cannot explain. Chosen one. Embrace this truth. You are dangerous to darkness. This is why your calling feels heavy, why your path has felt lonely, why attacks seemed relentless. But take heart. These are confirmations of the mantle you bear. You were chosen not to hide your light, but to let it blaze boldly. For through you, others will find their way out of shadows. Chosen one. The season you have walked through may have looked like loss, but in truth it was the hand of God at work. The stripping, the betrayals, the unexpected endings, none of it was punishment. It was pruning. You see, the gardener never cuts branches out of anger. He cuts them so the tree will bear more fruit. What you thought was God abandoning you was God preparing you. There were friendships that dissolved, doors that slammed shut, opportunities that slipped through your grasp. Each one left you questioning, why does it keep happening to me? But look closer. Those things were not removed to hurt you. They were removed to make space. God knows that if He had given you everything you wanted, you would have settled for less than what He intended. The writings of David in the Psalms remind us, chapter 66, verse 10 to 12, for you, God, tested us, you refined us like silver. You brought us into prison and laid burdens on our backs, but you brought us to a place of abundance. Beloved, the refining was never the end. It was always a passage to abundance. Think of it. When you lost people you thought would never leave. You discovered God's presence in ways you never had before. When you lost stability, you discovered His provision. When your heart was broken, you discovered His comfort. What was stripped from you revealed what could never be taken: your anointing, your calling, your place as a chosen one. And yet, I know the pain was real. It felt unfair, even cruel. But understand this: gold cannot stay in raw form, it must be refined. Grapes cannot stay on the vine, they must be crushed before they release wine. Oil does not flow until the olive is pressed. In the same way, what pressed you, crushed you, and broke you was making room for a greater outpouring. Chosen one. Your breaking season was not to destroy you, it was to birth something new in you. And now, you stand on the edge of a turning point. What felt like subtraction will soon reveal itself as multiplication. The very places of your pain will become the platforms of your power. If this resonates with you, if you know deep in your spirit that you have been in a season of breaking, but can now sense God's hand leading you into rebuilding, I want to gently ask something of you. Share this message, not just as a click, but as a seed. Somewhere, another chosen one is questioning their losses right now, wondering if God has forgotten them. Your act of sharing could be the very answer they've been praying for. And if your heart is stirred by these words, let it be known, like this message, as your silent Amen. Your agreement that the breaking has not been wasted. Subscribe if you haven't. Not because numbers matter, but because staying connected means you won't miss the reminders heaven is sending for your journey. Chosen one. Your story is not over. The breaking season was not the final chapter, it was the preparation for the unveiling. Hold your head high. What was lost will never compare to what is coming. Chosen one. There is a temptation whispering to you right now. Walk away. Give up. Set down the crown. The enemy knows you are close to breakthrough, and so he presents easy exits, false comforts, distractions that seem harmless but carry great cost. Listen carefully. You cannot afford to take the wrong step in this season. One act of compromise could delay what heaven has been preparing for years. Your trials have been heavy because your reward is weighty. You have been pressed on every side, but you are not crushed. You have felt struck down, but you are not destroyed. This is the testing ground where your obedience is refined like pure gold. As the apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 13, no temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. Beloved, the very fact that you are still standing proves that God has given you the strength to endure. Do not walk away. The enemy tries to convince you that nothing will change, that surrendering is easier, that compromise will bring relief. But hear this truth: temporary relief is not worth eternal reward. Your crown is closer than your breath, and only those who endure inherit it. The cost of giving up is far greater than the cost of pressing on. Chosen one. You are being tested, not because God is cruel, but because God trusts you. He sees what is inside of you, even when you doubt yourself. He knows the resilience you carry, the faith that flickers but never dies, the strength that rises even when you feel broken. Others may think you are fragile, but heaven knows you are forged in fire. Now, let this moment be more than listening. Let it be action. As a prophetic sign of your endurance and your choice to remain faithful, I invite you to declare it publicly. Write this number in the comments: 444. This is not a random sequence. The number 444 symbolizes divine stability, the foundation of heaven's order. When you type it, you are making a statement that you will not be shaken, that you are rooted deeply in God's plan, and that no storm will uproot you. Each digit becomes a declaration: I am grounded, I am covered, I am chosen. Do not underestimate the power of this act. Sometimes the smallest steps carry the loudest echoes in the spirit. By commenting, you are stamping your agreement with heaven and refusing to let temptation dictate your story. You are aligning yourself with every chosen one who is pressing forward at this same hour. Beloved, do not walk away. Your tears are not wasted. Your nights of silence are not unnoticed. Your prayers are not ignored. The harvest is near, and only those who stay planted will reap it. Chosen one, keep standing. Keep believing. The test is not the end, it is the doorway. And beyond this doorway is the fulfillment of promises spoken over your life long ago. Chosen one, you are now standing on the edge of a holy threshold. This is not a casual moment. It is the place where time and eternity meet. You have walked through seasons of waiting, seasons of pruning, and seasons of testing. Now you are at the point where mercy stretches out its hand one last time. Delay can no longer be mistaken for safety, because delay at this point becomes disobedience. There is a weight in the spirit pressing against you. You feel it as restlessness, as urgency, as the sense that something must shift. This is not your imagination. It is heaven warning you not to grow numb, not to let procrastination silence the voice of God in your heart. For there comes a time when ignoring His voice leads to blindness, and the window of grace begins to close. Chosen one, pause and recognize the gravity of this hour. The stirring within you is not coincidence, but divine insistence. Heaven is leaning close, urging you to decide, to obey, to step boldly where fear once chained you. This is the moment that separates hesitation from destiny, wandering from fulfillment. The Word of God declares in the book of Hebrews, chapter 3, verse 15, Today, if you hear His voice, do not harden your hearts as you did in the rebellion. These words are not ancient history. They are alive right now. They are a warning and a lifeline. God is reminding you that every tug on your heart, every stirring in your soul, is a gift. Conviction itself is proof that He is still calling. Chosen one, the danger lies not in weakness, but in indifference. Weakness cries out for help. Indifference pretends it does not need saving. That is why heaven shakes your spirit, waking you from slumber. You cannot afford to settle in delay, because delay becomes rebellion, and rebellion blinds the eyes. Think of those moments when you felt God nudging you, when you knew what He was asking but chose to wait. At first, the conviction burned hot, but over time, each delay made the voice softer. This is how hearts harden, not in one sudden act, but in countless small refusals. And yet, here you are, still able to feel His pull. That alone is mercy. Chosen one, you are closer to destiny than you realize. The enemy's strategy, is not only to tempt you with sin, but to lull you into inaction. He whispers, "There's still time. You can respond later." But later is the most dangerous word for a chosen one. Later has stolen more crowns than outright rebellion. Do not confuse patience with permission. God is patient. Yes, but his patience is meant to lead you to obedience, not complacency. You stand at the edge of mercy, where the next step determines whether you enter greater glory or wander in greater confusion. This is the sobering truth. Not every season remains open forever. When heaven moves, you must move with it. Chosen one. You are one decision away from clarity, or one decision away from blindness, and heaven is pleading with you, even now, do not let this moment slip. The fire stirring in your chest is not emotion. It is the Spirit pulling you into alignment. Do not resist. Do not delay. Lift your eyes, steady your heart, and step forward. This is the edge of mercy. The moment when delay becomes disobedience. Do not be found lingering when God has already said, "Move." Insa, chosen one. There are eyes that see, and there are eyes that refuse to see. You were not created to walk blind in a world that stumbles in darkness. You were raised up as a watchman. This means you have been given the ability to discern what others overlook. You feel things before they happen, sense dangers before they unfold, and recognize truths that others dismiss. This gift is not a burden, but a mantle. The call of the watchman is weighty. It requires you to stay awake when others sleep, to stay alert when others grow careless. At times, you have asked, why can't I just relax like everyone else? Why does my spirit feel unsettled when others are comfortable? The answer is simple. You are not like everyone else. Heaven placed an alarm in your spirit. And when danger draws near, that alarm rings. We are reminded through the writings of Ezekiel, chapter 33, verse 7, Son of man, I have made you a watchman for the people of Israel. So hear the word I speak and give them warning from me. This calling was never reserved for prophets of old. It rests on you now. You are not only protecting your own journey, but also sounding the warning for those connected to your life. Chosen one. This is why your dreams have felt different. This is why sudden impressions weigh heavily on your heart. When others shrug off signs, you cannot. When others laugh at danger, you sense the urgency of preparation. Your role is not to mock or judge, but to awaken. A watchman sees what is coming and cries out so that others may take refuge. Of course, this calling is not easy. Being a watchman can feel lonely. When you warn people, some will ignore you. When you speak truth, some will reject you. But do not let rejection silence your voice. If you remain silent, their blood weighs on your hands. If you speak and they refuse, the responsibility shifts from you to them. Either way, your role is to declare what you see. Chosen one. Understand that your sensitivity is not weakness, it is heaven's strategy. You may feel more burdened than those around you, but that is because God entrusted you with insight. The Spirit shows you glimpses so that you can intercede, pray, and cover those who are still blind. This is an honor. Though it sometimes feels like a heavy cross, there is also a blessing hidden in this role. While others stumble without warning, you are preserved. While others are caught unaware, you are prepared. Heaven does not expose you to truth to frighten you. but to anchor you. When storms come, you will not be shaken, because you have already seen the signs and taken shelter under God's covering. Chosen one. Never underestimate the power of your voice, your warnings, and your prayers. A single whisper in prayer can shift the course of someone else's destiny. A single word of truth, spoken with courage, can awaken someone who was drifting toward destruction. That is the weight of your calling. You are a watchman, a guardian, a voice crying out in a world asleep. So carry this mantle with reverence. You are not paranoid. You are prophetic. You are not strange. You are chosen. And though your watch may feel long and heavy, remember this: the one who called you never sleeps nor slumbers. Heaven watches over the watchman, ensuring that your vigilance is never in vain. Chosen one, you now stand at the crossroads of destiny. This is not a place of confusion, but of decision. Heaven and hell contend for your obedience in this very hour. And neutrality is no longer an option. Every step forward is either surrender to God's plan or surrender to the enemy's distractions. The weight of this moment is greater than you realize. You have felt the pull inside your heart, the voice that whispers, "Go deeper," and the other voice that says, "Stay where you are." The tension is not coincidence, it is spiritual warfare. The unseen realms are aware of what your next decision will unlock. Heaven knows that obedience will release blessings and assignments prepared long ago. Hell knows that rebellion will open doors to chains you thought were broken. That is why the pressure feels so heavy now. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 19. This day I call heaven and earth witnesses. I set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Choose life. These words ring louder now than ever before. Life and death are not distant concepts. They are choices standing before you today. Chosen one. The crossroads is not designed to frighten you. It is designed to awaken you. Every destiny is shaped by decisions, and yours is no different. The temptation to delay is strong, but delay is itself a choice, one that carries consequences. Every time you push away God's nudge, your heart grows duller to His voice. Yet every time you say yes, no matter how small the step, you align yourself with eternal destiny. Think of the heroes of faith: Moses standing at the Red Sea, David before Goliath, Esther before the king. Each one stood at a crossroads. Each one had the choice to retreat into comfort or step into calling. Their courage did not erase fear, but it declared that obedience mattered more than safety. And through their obedience, history shifted. Chosen one. You too are standing in such a moment. Your obedience may not only alter your life, but also the lives of those connected to you. A yes from you could unlock freedom for your family, healing for your bloodline, or revival in your community. Do not underestimate the ripple effect of one choice. Now, I want you to make a declaration, not just in your heart, but visibly, as a prophetic act. In the comments, write these words: I choose life. By, it may look simple, only 3 words, but their power is eternal. By writing them, you are agreeing with heaven's call over your life. You are rejecting the lies of the enemy, refusing the path of delay, and stepping boldly into alignment with God's will. Let this be more than letters on a screen. Let it be the seal of your decision at this very crossroads. Beloved, do not let fear paralyze you here. Fear has no authority when you remember who walks beside you. You are not choosing life alone. Heaven itself stands ready to back you. The Spirit of God strengthens you. Angels surround you. And grace goes before you. Your yes will not go unsupported. Chosen one. The crossroads of destiny is before you. Step forward with courage. Choose life. And in doing so, watch the story of your calling unfold in ways greater than you ever imagined. Chosen one. What rests within you is not ordinary. You were never placed on this earth just to survive. You are not called merely to endure storms and hope for better days. You are chosen to become a carrier of fire. This fire is not of human origin. It is the fire of heaven, meant to ignite what has grown cold, to awaken what has fallen asleep, to set ablaze hearts that have settled into mediocrity. From the moment you surrendered to God, something within you began to burn. You felt it in moments of prayer, when words seemed too small to contain the passion inside you. You felt it in times of worship, when your spirit longed to go deeper than songs and sounds. That fire was not imagination, it was the holy flame placed inside every chosen one. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 16, "Let your light shine before others to see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." This light, this fire, is not for hiding. It is for shining. It is for spreading. It is for transforming every place you step into. Chosen one. When fire carriers walk into a room, the atmosphere changes. Despair begins to lose its grip. Hope rises, and chains that held others quietly start to weaken. That is the authority you carry, though at times you forget it. The enemy fears that if you ever realize what burns inside you, you will shake nations, not just neighborhoods. But remember this, fire must be tended. If neglected, it dims. If smothered by fear, compromise, or distraction, it flickers low. That is why your life has felt like constant pressure, because God is teaching you to guard the flame. Trials, betrayals, and struggles were not sent to destroy you, but to refine your fire until it burns pure. Chosen one. This world does not need more copies, it needs flames. And you, beloved, are one of those flames. You were not called to mimic, you were called to ignite. What burns in you is meant to spread into others, awakening them to their own calling. This is why your life has often attracted those desperate for hope. They sense in you a spark they cannot find anywhere else. I want to pause and speak directly to your heart. If these words stir something in you, if you feel that fire flickering stronger even now, do not let this flame go unnoticed. Take a step of faith and show it. Like this message, not for numbers, but as your silent yes to tending the fire inside you. Share it with someone who you know is struggling, because your obedience may be the match that lights their own fire. And subscribe, not as a ritual, but as a way of staying connected to the flow of words that keep your spirit burning bright. Beloved, the fire inside you was never meant to be contained. Do not hide it out of fear. Do not smother it to make others comfortable. You are chosen to burn, to shine, to spread heat into a cold world. And when you do, darkness cannot remain. Rise, fire carrier. Your flame is heaven's answer to this generation's cry. Chosen one, The enemy has studied you longer than you have understood yourself. He has tracked your steps, noted your patterns, and waited for moments of weakness. His attacks are not random, they are strategic. And the closer you draw to break through, the fiercer his assault becomes. Do not mistake the intensity of the battle as a sign of defeat. It is confirmation that you are nearing a divine release. You may have noticed that when you decide to pray more, distractions multiply. When you commit to obedience, temptations seem stronger. When you begin to rise in confidence, voices of doubt grow louder. This is not coincidence. It is opposition designed to wear you down before the promise manifests. The enemy always launches his last strike when heaven's door is about to open. The prophet Elijah spoke, as recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 18, verse 21. How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal is God, follow him. These words remind us that spiritual battles sharpen around decision. The enemy wants you double-minded, wavering, and unsure, because indecision delays destiny. But heaven calls you to stand firm, anchored in truth, even when storms rage. Chosen one, recall the patterns of your past. Every time you stood on the edge of something new, attacks intensified, relationships strained, unexpected crises arose, thoughts of giving up grew louder. And yet, though bruised and weary, you made it through. If you look closely, you'll see a pattern. The hardest battles preceded the greatest breakthroughs. What nearly broke you was always the proof that God was about to raise you higher. Understand this: the enemy cannot destroy what God has established. He can only attempt to discourage, distract, and deceive. His weapons are lies wrapped in fear, whispers of inadequacy, illusions of failure. But truth stands greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. You are not fighting for victory, you are fighting from victory already secured. The fact that you are still standing testifies to this reality. Though storms have raged, you have not been swept away. Though arrows have been aimed at your heart, you are still breathing, still chosen, still marked. This is evidence that God's hand has never lifted from your life, even when you felt alone. Chosen one, do not be surprised by the intensity of this season. Take it as confirmation that you are close. A thief does not break into an empty house. The enemy is after you because you carry treasure, and treasure, once revealed, will shift not only your life, but the lives of many connected to you. Hold firm. Let faith anchor you when fear tries to shake you. Lift your eyes when shadows close in. The last strike of the enemy is always the loudest, but it is also the most desperate. He knows his time is short, and he cannot stop what God has decreed. So endure. Beloved, your night may feel long, but morning always comes. And when it does, you will see clearly that the battle only sharpened you, the fire only refined you, and the wounds only revealed your unbreakable nature. The enemy's last strike is not your ending, it is your signal that breakthrough is at hand. Chosen one, there comes a moment when what has been whispered over your life must be spoken aloud. Destiny cannot remain only a secret between heaven and your heart. It must be activated. This is one of those moments. You are not reading these words by chance. You are standing under a prophetic summons to rise, to declare, and to step fully into alignment with the will of God. Prophetic activation is not about emotions, it is about obedience. It is the difference between hearing the call and answering it. Too many live their lives hearing, but never responding, knowing, but never moving. That is why heaven interrupts you now. You have carried the weight, endured the refining, walked through storms, and survived attacks. Now it is time to stand and say, I accept the assignment. As Paul proclaimed in his letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 6, For this reason I remind you to fan into flame the gift of God, which is in you through the laying on of my hands. Beloved, the gift has always been inside you. The fire has always been burning. What remains is for you to stir it up, to fan it until it consumes every trace of fear and hesitation. Chosen one. Prophetic activation does not wait for ideal circumstances. It is birthed in moments like this when the weight of destiny presses on you and you know deep within that you cannot remain the same. Heaven is calling you to speak life over yourself, to seal in words what God has already planted in your spirit. Think of Joshua standing before the promised land. God told him to be strong and courageous, not because fear was absent, but because courage had to be chosen. Think of Ezekiel, commanded to prophesy to dry bones. The miracle did not begin with signs in the sky. It began with a voice declaring life where there was only death. And now, the Spirit of God says to you, activate. Do not just nod in agreement. Do not just keep this silently in your heart. Seal it with action. Mark this moment as a prophetic act. I invite you now to type this number in the comments. 555. This number carries weight. It is a symbol of divine grace in motion. A triple measure of God's hand reshaping your life. By writing 555, you are declaring, I step into new grace. I receive strength for the assignment. I choose to fan into flame the gift within me. No, do not take this lightly. Your words have power. Heaven listens when chosen ones speak in faith. Let this be your visible yes, your public agreement that you are not turning back, not shrinking down, not delaying another day. Chosen one, you were never meant to be ordinary. Your story carries the fingerprints of God, and your obedience will echo beyond your lifetime. This activation is more than symbolic. It is the doorway into deeper dimensions of calling, favor, and authority. So, speak, declare, seal it. The world may not understand why you comment a number, but heaven understands. The Spirit recognizes the sign of agreement and rushes to confirm it. Chosen one, rise into this moment. The time of silence has ended. Your prophetic activation has begun. Chosen one, the path of endurance is not glamorous, yet it is the narrow road that leads to glory. Many begin with zeal, but few remain when the weight grows heavy. You, however, are still here. That is proof enough of the crown awaiting you. Your survival through storms is not coincidence. It is evidence of resilience, divinely placed within you. The journey has been long. You have faced days where strength seemed absent, nights when your prayers felt unanswered, and seasons when hope appeared dim. Yet you pressed on. That perseverance is not small in the eyes of heaven. It is recorded. Every tear, every sigh, every whispered prayer in the dark, they were collected and stored as testimony of your endurance. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 7 to 8. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, and not only to me, but also to all who have longed for his appearing. These words do not belong only to Paul, they belong to you. You too are fighting the good fight. You too are keeping the faith, and a crown awaits you as surely as dawn follows night. Chosen one. Understand this. Endurance is not passive. It is not simply waiting for time to pass. Endurance is active, trust. Choosing to stand when everything tells you to fall. It is holding faith when fear screams louder. It is walking forward even when you cannot see the path clearly. Your endurance has been shaping you into one who can carry the crown with honor. Every obstacle you overcame built spiritual muscle. Every betrayal taught you the value of loyalty. Every loss deepened your compassion. Every delay strengthened your patience. These were not wasted struggles. They were chisels in the hand of the master sculptor, forming you into the vessel capable of holding greater glory. Chosen one. Your endurance has already marked you as different. Many started with you, but could not remain. Some abandoned the path when it grew narrow. Others exchanged their crowns for temporary comforts. Yet, here you are. Scarred, but standing. Wounded, yet walking. Weary, but unwilling to quit. That alone testifies to the spirit of endurance within you. The crown of endurance is not given to the swift, but to the steadfast. It belongs to those who refuse to surrender their faith, who cling to hope, even when their hands tremble. This crown is not made of earthly gold. It is woven from every moment you chose God over despair. Every time you lifted your head when shame tried to bow you down. Every second you refused to quit. Beloved, know this: heaven does not overlook endurance. People may never know the full weight of your struggle, but God does. He saw you keep moving when no applause was given. He saw you love when betrayal would have justified hatred. He saw you pray when silence seemed to echo back. These hidden victories are what qualify you for the crown. Chosen one. Your race is not yet over, but you are closer than you think. The crown of endurance is already prepared, waiting for the moment you cross the finish. Let this truth strengthen your weary heart. What you have carried will soon be exchanged for glory beyond measure. Chosen one. In the silence of your loneliest nights, you often wondered if you were truly alone. The weight on your shoulders felt unbearable, and the absence of human support made the burden heavier still. Yet, though your eyes could not see it, you were never abandoned. From the very beginning, angelic hosts surrounded you, keeping watch when you thought no one cared. When danger pressed close, something unseen intervened. When accidents nearly claimed your life, a hand redirected your steps. When depression threatened to drown you, a whisper you could not explain gave you just enough strength to endure another day. These were not coincidences. They were confirmations that heaven has always been near. Chosen one. Every unseen rescue was a message. You are guarded. The enemy plotted your destruction, but invisible hands broke his snares, where others saw mere chance. Heaven wrote testimonies of deliverance, those mysterious escapes, those impossible survivals were not random. They were heaven's way of shouting into your silence. You will not fall before your time. And each time you survived, something inside you shifted. You began to realize your story could not end in defeat. Though exhaustion tried to claim you, the truth whispered louder. You were preserved for purpose. The protection surrounding you is not temporary, it is tied to destiny. Angelic hosts walk with you still, ensuring you reach the fullness of your calling. The voice of God thundered in the book of Psalms. Chapter 34, verse 7. The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers them. Beloved, this is your reality. You have never walked a single valley alone. The encampment of heaven has been stationed around you, even when you felt unseen and forgotten by people. Chosen one. Isolation is often the disguise of divine protection. You thought abandonment meant you were weak, but it meant you were being shielded. God allowed certain people to walk away so his angels could step in closer, where others failed to hold you. Heaven carried you, where others failed to understand you. God surrounded you with supernatural guardianship. Even now, your story holds evidence of unseen intervention. Reflect on the times when you should have been destroyed emotionally, spiritually, even physically. Somehow, you survived. Somehow, you made it through. That somehow was not luck, it was divine orchestration. The hand of God preserved you because your assignment demanded survival. Chosen one. Do not despise the loneliness you once felt. It taught you to recognize the presence of God beyond human companionship. It opened your ears to whispers only the Spirit could give. It trained your heart to find strength in solitude, so you would not crumble when crowds disappeared. You were never truly alone. Heaven only made sure you would realize who your truest companion was. And though people may fail again in the future, angels will not. Though friends may betray, heaven's army will not. Though you may face valleys darker than before, the one who commands the hosts of heaven has already promised to walk with you. You are accompanied in ways greater than your eyes can comprehend. Beloved, let this assurance quiet your anxious thoughts. Every step you take is observed by heaven's watchmen. Every tear is guarded. Every cry is recorded. You are not wandering aimlessly, you are escorted. The kingdom has invested too much in you to leave you unguarded. So, walk boldly, knowing unseen companions march beside you. Stand firm, knowing that the armies of heaven are greater than the forces of hell. Rest, knowing that, though people may misunderstand, you are never misunderstood in the courts of heaven. Chosen one, you were never alone, and you never will be. Chosen one, what you have felt stirring inside you is not just personal, it is collective. You are part of something greater than yourself. Heaven is not only raising you, but awakening an entire army of chosen ones. Across the earth, hearts are catching fire. Voices once silenced are rising, and those hidden in wilderness seasons are stepping forward with authority. You are not alone, you are a soldier in a holy uprising. This army is not built with swords and shields of men, but with faith, endurance, and light. Each chosen one carries a flame, and when these flames come together, they form a blaze that no darkness can withstand. You may have thought your struggles were isolated, but they were preparing you to stand shoulder to shoulder with others who walked through the same fire. Together, you form a force that hell fears. As was declared in the book of Joel, chapter 2, Verse 7. They charge like warriors, scale walls like soldiers. They march in line, not swerving from their course. Beloved, this scripture paints a picture of you and those like you, disciplined, unshakable, advancing as one body, unstoppable because heaven's breath fuels your steps. Chosen one. The awakening army is not built on comfort, it is built on conviction. It rises not from ease, but from endurance. Every scar you carry is proof that you belong. Every tear you've shed is a badge of honor. You are not just a survivor, you are a warrior marked by heaven. The enemy has tried to scatter you through isolation, but heaven is gathering you through revelation. Messages like this are not random, they are signals that your spirit is aligning with countless others around the globe. Can you feel it? That pull in your heart is confirmation that you are part of something vast, something eternal. And this is where I humbly ask you to respond, not out of obligation, but out of recognition that you are part of this movement. Like this message, if it resonates with your spirit, not as a mere click, but as a declaration, I am awake. I am part of this army. Share it with someone who you sense carries the mark of the chosen, but has forgotten who they are. Your act of sharing might be the spark that rekindles their fire. And write your agreement in the comments. You don't need many words, just let your voice be heard. Your words will stand as a banner of alignment with this rising force. Others will see it and realize they are not alone, that their battles connect with a greater story. Finally, if you haven't yet, subscribe, not to follow a trend, but to remain connected. Chosen ones thrive when reminded of their identity. Staying close to this stream of words ensures your flame is not smothered by the noise of the world. Beloved, take heart. You are not one, but many. You are not weak, but strengthened by unity. You are not hidden, but revealed in this hour. The awakening army is rising, and you are marching with it. Chosen one. Lift your head, square your shoulders, and take your place. The world may not yet recognize what is forming, but hell already trembles. For the chosen ones are awake. Chosen one. Heaven does not forget. Every hidden act of obedience, every prayer whispered in secret, every sacrifice made when no one applauded, they are all recorded. Nothing escapes the eyes of the one who writes in the scrolls. Your name, your choices, your endurance, and even your pain are inscribed in eternal record, testifying that you belong to the marked ones. In moments of doubt, you may have asked, does any of this matter? Has anyone noticed what I've given? What I've endured? The answer is yes, heaven has noticed. What people ignored, what friends overlooked, what the world dismissed, God carefully wrote down. He is not unjust to forget your labor of love, nor will he allow your obedience to vanish unacknowledged. The Book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 16, reminds us, those who feared Lord talked with each other. The Lord listened, heard. A scroll of remembrance was written before him. Beloved, you are among those remembered. The scroll bears your name. The ink of heaven has already testified to your faithfulness. Chosen one. This is why you must never despise the small moments. When you forgave, instead of retaliating, it was recorded. When you gave generously, though no one saw, it was written down. When you endured betrayal, yet chose to love again, It echoed in the courts of heaven. Nothing slips through unseen. Heaven accounts for every action born from faith. And what is written is not written in vain. These records are not dusty archives, but living testimonies. Evidence that will speak on your behalf when reward is released. For every moment you sowed in tears, there is a harvest stored in the unseen, waiting for its appointed time. Your story is not built on random struggles, but on layers of obedience that heaven has sealed for eternity. Chosen one. The weight of this truth is also a call to reverence. If heaven records, then heaven also reads. If God remembers, then he also rewards. This means your life carries eternal weight. Nothing is casual. Every choice echoes. The decisions you make in private shape a record that will one day be read in the light of eternity. But do not let this reality burden you with fear. Let it anchor you in purpose. You are not forgotten. You are not unseen. Your sacrifices matter. Your name is not just known on earth. It is inscribed in heaven's scrolls. Angels read it. Demons recognize it. And God himself affirms it. Beloved, let this strengthen you when fatigue whispers that no one cares. Let it remind you when your heart aches with loneliness. The truth is simple. You are remembered. The records are clear. Your obedience echoes louder than you realize. And its weight will outlast time itself. Chosen one. Walk with the confidence of one whose name is already secured. Do not let discouragement blind you to the honor you carry. Though people may forget, though recognition may never come from man, your place in the scrolls is unshakable. And when the day comes for reward to be revealed, heaven will testify on your behalf. You are not laboring in vain. You are not enduring for nothing. Your name is written. Your story is preserved. And your destiny is sealed. Chosen one. Heaven remembers you. Always. Chosen one. The final call is upon you. Not a call to confusion. Not a call to fear. But a call to stand in the fullness of who you are. Every section of your journey, the pruning, the testing, the isolation, the awakening has led to this moment. The Spirit confirms what has always been true. You are marked, you are chosen, and you are crowned. Chosen one. Pause and realize the magnitude of this confirmation. You have endured fires that tried to consume you, rivers that tried to drown you, and voices that tried to silence you, yet none prevailed. The very fact that you are still standing is evidence that your destiny cannot be erased. Heaven has preserved you for such a time as this, where your crown shines brighter than every wound you carry. Chosen one. This final call is not just about survival, but about reigning. You were never meant to crawl through life with shame or fear. You were meant to stand with authority, to speak with conviction, to shine with a light that darkness cannot overcome. The crown upon you is proof that heaven's hand rests on your life, and nothing in creation can strip it away. The Word of God declares in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 11, I am coming soon. Hold on to what you have, so that no one will take your crown. Beloved, this is your charge. The crown is not a future possibility. It already rests above your life, awaiting the day of full unveiling. The warning is not that you are unworthy, but that you must remain steadfast until the end. Chosen one. Think of how far you have come. Once you doubted if you would even survive. Once you questioned if you were truly seen. Once you feared that your life was nothing more than struggle after struggle. Yet, here you stand, still breathing, still believing, still moving forward. That alone is proof that the crown was always meant for you. This crown is not made of earthly jewels that fade or tarnish. It is woven with threads of endurance, faith, and obedience. Every scar you carry has added weight to its glory. Every tear has polished it brighter. Every step of perseverance has secured it tighter. It is the visible sign of your invisible victory. Chosen one. Crowns are not handed out cheaply. They are reserved for those who finish, for those who do not quit when storms rage, for those who keep faith even when silence presses heavy. You are one of them. You are one who fought through nights of despair, who resisted lies, who clung to God even when your strength was nearly gone. That is why the crown awaits you. This final call is heaven's reminder. You cannot go back. There is nothing behind you that compares to what is before you. There is no chain strong enough to bind you now. No shadow deep enough to conceal you. No enemy fierce enough to undo what God has decreed. You are crowned, chosen, and confirmed. And when the day comes when you stand before the throne, the crown placed upon your head will not only testify of your endurance, it will testify of God's faithfulness. It will say, "This one did not quit. This one remained. This one believed." And the reward will echo into eternity. Chosen one, rise with confidence. This is the final call, not to strive harder, but to rest in the truth that you are sealed, not to fear the future, but to step boldly into it. The crown is yours. The testimony is yours. The reward is yours. You are chosen. You are crowned. You are eternal. Chosen one. If these words have spoken to the deepest parts of your soul, then you already know this message was never random. It was heaven reaching into your timeline, halting the noise around you, and reminding you of who you truly are. You are not here by chance. You are marked, preserved, and appointed for such a time as this. Every battle you've endured, every valley you've walked, every moment you thought would break you, it has all led to this truth. You are chosen, and chosen ones do not live small lives. They rise. They carry crowns unseen by the world, but evident in the Spirit. They burn with a fire that darkness cannot smother. Beloved, don't let this moment end quietly. Let your response become part of your declaration, like this message, not out of routine, but as a silent Amen, a confirmation that your spirit agrees with what has been spoken. Share it, because somewhere another chosen one is doubting their worth right now, and your obedience could be the spark that reignites their hope. And do not let your voice remain silent. Leave a comment. Write from your spirit, whether just one line or one word, because your declaration may be the very reminder another heart needs to see. You may not realize it, but your agreement has power. Finally, if you have not yet subscribed, do so today, not to follow a trend, but to remain connected to the flow of these reminders, to walk in step with words that strengthen your calling. Staying connected means never forgetting who you are when the battles of life try to make you doubt. Chosen one. Heaven has spoken. You are seen. You are sealed. You are chosen. Rise and live as one crowned.